The broadcast, please call the Oregon Studio hotline at 336-831-0864. Stations, your final time cue will be with 15 seconds until airtime. Mark, 15 seconds until airtime.
This is Duck Insider.
Duck's gonna pick it up, and here we go. Got him deep. He's open. He's got it. And he's gone.
How about that?
Oregon repeats as the Pac-12 champion.
Omarui for three. Yes! Oh, and a steal and slam for Williams. Duarte to the basket. The slam. For the third time in the last 5 years, the Ducks are Pac-12 champions. Outright champ.
Foley three. Volleyball. Left wing. Pow. Yeah, boom. Regular season champions, and now Pac-12 tournament champions.
Welcome to Duck Insider.
We're just getting started.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College. Presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Better banking, local solutions. Live from the Country Financial Studio, here's Joey Mack.
Thank you, and welcome inside the second floor of the Casanova Center. We've got a lot to get to today, including Deputy Athletic Director Lisa Peterson. She's going to join us in just a moment for our Athletic Director Tuesday interview, always brought to you by Pepsi and locally owned Bigfoot Beverages. The Oregon football team has made an addition to their staff official, with Marcel Yates officially being announced by Mario Cristobal as the program's secondary coach and passing game coordinator. He has worked with defensive backs for, get this, 18 of his 20 seasons as a college coach, and has served as a defensive coordinator 8 of the last 9 seasons. And the Ducks have added Marcel Yates officially to their staff. So congratulations and welcome to the flock, Coach Yates. And Coach Cristobal, that's got to feel pretty good, as the hiring process now is feeling a little bit more complete, which has got to be everybody's favorite thing when you're not doing hiring committees and all these different things. And speaking of committees, the Oregon women's basketball team is going to be awaiting their fate for the NCAA selection committee. Well, Lisa Peterson, of course, is on that selection committee, but don't worry, we won't put her on the spot and ask her how many times she has to recuse herself from the conversations about the selection committee, because when the Ducks are being discussed, that means Lisa has to leave the office or the Zoom office, I guess. What do they do? Do you just have to leave the Zoom call? How does that even work? Lisa, hi, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good.
So I can actually, for the top 16 reveals, I can actually vote for Oregon. I didn't know that during the first one, but now I know. But no, what I will have to, we'll be in person when we're doing selections. So I'll be in San Antonio, and I will probably be spending a lot of time out in the hallway.
Yeah, well, that's good. That's good. That's a good thing, everybody. We want that. That means the Ducks are being discussed. So this is great. We're going to also hear from Dana Altman after what was a tough one last night. How did the Ducks bounce back now heading to a matchup with Stanford for Oregon men's basketball? Chris Duarte today, though, this is good news, has been named a finalist for the Jerry West Shooting Guard of the Year Award, one of the best shooting guards in the country. And I'm happy to say that Chris Duarte will be our player spotlight on Tip-Off Tuesday this week as well. It's like maybe we knew it was coming, and I might have scheduled it and lined it up a certain way. So everybody it's going to be a good time. It's going to be a good time with Chris Duarte. We will find out if he does, in fact, think that he could strike out LJ Figueroa on a baseball diamond. We'll get into that later. Also, Nils Schyllander, we got him on the show coming up in just a little while. A lot of news, though, for today. And Lisa, I guess let's begin with women's basketball season. A big one coming up for the Ducks to finish out the regular season. And we already know that Oregon's got a bye in the first round of the Pac-12 tournament. Women's basketball season, a bit of an up and down, but it was great to see them back to their winning ways against the Trojans this past weekend.
Definitely. And Joe, before we get to women's basketball, I'd be remiss if I did not congratulate men's tennis on a huge win, beating the Huskies on Sunday.
Anytime you beat the Huskies, it's a good day.
Right. And so I definitely want to make sure that, we give that a shout out. But as far as women's basketball goes, yes, it's been an up and down season, but in reality, I've been talking to the staff, and if you think about it, and you go back to when we had as many freshmen or newcomers as we do now, the only difference really is that there were no expectations back then, right? Like everything that happened, it was a really great thing. Like when we beat Stanford at home, and when we did those things, like it was seen as a success. And with this year's team, if you actually look at their losses, their losses are only to the top 3 teams in our very, very good conference. Like if you, in my world, there's team sheets. You look at a team sheet as to the teams that people play, you know, versus the 1 through 25, the 26 through 50, like, and they're in these different categories, right? Well, Oregon's only losses are all the way on the far left in the top 1 through 25 category. And in reality, it's 1 through 11 if you're looking at net rankings. And so even though it feels like there's been a lot of, you know, more loss than what we've had recently, it's only in that far left. And so I think sometimes we become spoiled at Oregon with all the success that we've had, and we've seen it in a lot of sports that have happened. But this team, I mean, they were all brand new. If in reality, I mean, there's, you know, 2 people that actually had minutes last year that are playing on the court. So I think that we have to be, you know, remember that a little bit and understand that what they have done is pretty remarkable. We won every single game that we were supposed to win. And certainly we would have loved to have had, you know, that UCLA that we lost by 2 or that Stanford game that we lost by 2. Those would have been great. And trust me, there's no moral victories in our program. But I think that we just have to do a little bit of a reality check as to where we really are. And this team really has done an incredible job. And the other thing is every single night, you don't know who's going to do what. Like we have so many players that can become the star that night. And in the past, we always knew it was one of the 3, right? And so I just think that we have to take a step back and really appreciate what we had, but also what we have and what we have going forward.
I think that's great.
So,
it's all about perspective, right?
Yes.
It's all about
that's
perspective.
My little soapbox.
Well, no, hey, Coach Graves said something similar, actually, and we'll have him on Tip-Off Tuesday coming up this afternoon. You can watch the show live 2:30 to 3:30 on the various social media channels, and then on the radio network 7 o'clock. Just go to goducks.com/radio. I've said all the different ways that you can listen and tune in, to the point where I think I say them in my sleep sometimes. So just go to goducks.com/radio. So I'm kind of curious, Lisa, being on the selection committee for women's basketball, and I remember I talked to Rob Mullins about this with the football selections. Do you like the early reveal? Like, is that something that you as a fan at part 1 and then part 2 as a committee member, you're smiling? Do you like those early reveals that they're doing now?
Well, let's be honest. I think that the reason that you do it is to get people talking, right? And I don't think that there's ever been a reveal in any sport. I mean, I can go back to the volleyball committee. Whenever you do a reveal, what it does is it starts controversy, it starts conversation, and it starts people getting excited about it. So I understand the why. Certainly, sometimes I think that we try to do that with, you know, limited information. And this year is you know, certainly no different. And you can look at people will say that the committee didn't do a good job in leaving Michigan out. But if you looked at it, the time that we were looking at it, Michigan had 11 games. And it's really hard to compare when there just isn't a full body yet. And so I think that that's, you know, one of the challenging things. So I understand it. What I will tell you, Joey, is I spend a lot of time, like, you know, the net is one of the tools that you use, which is obviously different than RPI, but it's only one of the tools. And this year, like, it's always important, but this year it's really important that you're watching basketball games. And so I watch a lot of basketball games. I think in the month of January, I watched 46 basketball games.
That's a lot.
And having to do that, then, you know, like when you're comparing, that you can try to compare and contrast as much as possible because you've seen them, not just what you're seeing on a sheet. So it's a lot of work that goes into it. But, you know, I love being a part of this committee. I love watching basketball. And I like doing all that. So I get it from both sides, but there definitely feels like, you know, the pressure, you know, because you always want to get it right, but it's trying to get something right when you don't have all the information.
Well, it got me talking, so it worked.
See?
You know, right? Like we talked about it on the show. We talked about it on the broadcast. Terry and Bev talked about it. I mean, yeah, that's what we want, right? You want the interest, drum up all the interest. Lisa Peterson joining us, Deputy Athletic Director. Postseason, though, rapidly approaching. Pac-12 tournament. The Ducks, we know now, lock up that number 4 seed, so they're going to play next Thursday. You can already start to figure out your extended lunch, everybody. It's really more of like a almost late brunch, but figure out your extended lunch period on Thursday. Pac-12 tournament, Lisa. I mean, this is it's going to be different than anything we've ever seen before.
Yes, definitely. And I like the idea that it is moved up a day for a couple reasons. One is, you know, for the teams that make it into that championship game, it's great to have that rest. It also can provide opportunity for some teams to be able to do some makeup games if it happens to work out that way. I'm not sure if how all that's going to work. We haven't really, identified all of that yet, but I like that it's a little bit earlier in the week, and with classes being remote, the way things are, it does make it easier to do. But yeah, it's going to be, we've had, for lack of a better term, a home court advantage the last few years, and certainly that's not going to happen now. But just really excited about it, and anything can happen in a tournament. We've seen that. We just follow our men. What year were we seeded 6th and we ended up winning the tournament?
It happens.
Yeah, so I like that idea.
Yeah, I think it's cool. So for those of you who missed it earlier, the conference has announced that the opening round games for the Pac-12 women's tournament will be on Wednesday. The idea is that on Saturday there could potentially be a makeup game from the regular season, and that would be between teams that are not playing in the championship game on Sunday. So it just gives more flexibility as we all continue to try to pivot and use our various Ross Geller couch-carrying memes in the process. NCAA tournament now. San Antonio bubble, Lisa. So you mentioned that you're going to be out there doing the selection in person or on the committee in the selection in San Antonio. Are you just going to what's your schedule going to be? You just going to stay in San Antonio? How's this going to work?
I just booked a ticket this morning for 26 days.
Wow. Oh my goodness.
So
you are going to be so familiar with the Riverwalk. Wow.
But Joey, that's, you talk about being different, just like in Vegas, like it's not a true bubble like what the NBA and the WNBA were, because those were like in areas where nobody else had access, right? So they were on those or in those resorts and things like that. So I think that we're looking at it more as of a controlled environment, and the rules are very, very strict.
Sure.
I'm sure we've talked about here before the different tiers. And it's tier 1, and you can only interact with your team in tier 1. And, certainly any violation of that, and they'll send you home. And so it's going to be really, really strict. The whole goal is for everybody to successfully get through both tournaments. And so that's going to take a lot of discipline and a lot of protocols and following the proper procedures. So yes, I will be in San Antonio for a really long time, but I'm not sure, there are specific places that we are allowed to go, and most of them are in the hotel we're at.
Makes sense. I hope that the hotel's internet is able to handle all this, because that's a lot of Zoom calls there for you, Lisa.
Exactly. No, it's one of the requirements. That's what we talked about.
Dang.
And a Starbucks close by, that.
The little things in life.
The little things in life.
All right, I got to get a quick time out, Lisa. We have yet to talk about the myriad and the plethora and all your other SAT words worth of sports that are going on right now, because it is a historic time where we've got a couple fall sports that are now taking place in the winter, spring, and we're going to talk about all that. Lisa Peterson joining us, Deputy Athletic Director, kind enough to take some time out of the busy schedule before that 26-day trip to San Antonio. I'm going to remember that. We've made jokes on this show before about packing suitcases with Lisa. Yes. I don't even want to go there.
Do you know how stressed I am, Joey? Like, I am stressed.
Well, they got to do laundry for you, right?
Well, I assume, but still, I'm stressed.
I understand. That's a long trip. I think the longest I've been on the road for work is 13 straight days, and that was a long trip.
I'm going to double that. Yeah.
Double that for you. Dang. Okay, we got more to talk about. Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Lisa Peterson, kind enough to join us. A lot of sports to talk about, including a Pac-12 Freshman of the Week honor after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics, because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
As my family continued to grow, I realized I'd have to replace my beloved Jeep with something that has, more seats. I'm Jason Hines, Country Financial Rep and father of 7. Whether you're upgrading from your sporty ride with no room for a car seat, or finally replacing your well-loved beater that still has a cassette player, you'll want the right protection for your new car. Work with a Country Financial Rep like me and get the protection you need at a price you can afford. Learn more at TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
Duck Insider, your home for the latest news on Oregon athletics. This is the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
GOAT, G-O-A-T, acronym, stands for greatest of all time. As in, spaghetti sandwiches for dinner? They're my fave. Dad, you're the GOAT.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Man, do I love card night. You ready, boys? You got a king?
Go, Fish Dad!
Oh, come on! This is WWE superstar Titus O'Neil. It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today. Learn more at 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov.
Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
"26 days in San Antonio."
I know everyone's jealous.
That's a long time. Hey, I really enjoyed my couple trips to San Antonio. It's a fun place, but it's not all that fun in this environment. That's the whole thing, right? Like, nothing's as fun in this environment. So best of luck, Lisa, in all seriousness. We're back on Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. We're inside the Country Financial Studio. Lisa joining us on the University of Oregon Alumni Association guest line. Lisa, softball season is officially underway. Ducks are out to a 7-0 start. Today, Elisa Brito named the Pac-12 Freshman of the Week after hitting a couple home runs in a 10-2 win and a 2-1 win for Oregon softball. You know, Lisa, I've been telling people, like, man, that team was 22-2 last year when things shut down. Look out for Oregon softball this year. That's got to feel pretty cool to see them performing well here early in a season and getting back to competition.
No, Joey, it's so exciting, and I'm so excited for them. You know, that group's been through an awful lot, and for them to have the success, you know, I always love that. But if you think about it, go back 2 years ago, we won 22 games, and last year we won 22 games, and so like it's just incredible what the turnaround in 1 year. And so for this year, absolutely, like, so excited. I was really excited that I finally got to watch them play. You know, the GCU game you could stream, and then the 2 games at Fresno State. You could stream those. And I know that there was a lot of expectation put on Alyssa. She's filling in, you know, for our superstar and Jazz Severs, and being able to do that. And filling in is not the right words. I mean, she, you know, she earned that spot, and she's in that spot. But what she's done, you know, has been incredible. And then I hope that if you didn't get to watch the game, I hope that you all have seen it on social media. But the catch that Haley Cruz had to save that game, you know, and the second game on Sunday was incredible. And I'm so happy for her too, because I know that she's put an awful lot into this. And, you know, anytime that she has success, I'm definitely the biggest cheerleader for that.
Well, dare I bust this out like I did with Coach Lombardi earlier today when we recorded our interview that'll air tomorrow, but I think we can all agree that it was a na-na-na type moment, right? I mean, this is like game on the line. I think this is what it's all about. And you get an All-American in center field who makes a diving catch with a great first step. I mean, that's what it's all about. This to me, Lisa, like moments like that, this is where the hard work for folks like yourself and everybody else that's gone into making competition possible in this environment, this is when it pays off, right? Like, these are the moments where it's like, oh, this was worth it.
Absolutely. And then you also look at that team, and you look that we haven't even got to see much of, you know, we have 5 pitchers. Like, we have 5 pitchers. I don't know that we've ever had 5 pitchers. And you could put anybody in at any time. Like, that's the other, it's not just having 5 on your roster. Like, we have 5 really good pitchers. Yeah. And so I think that we're going to be a tough out. And this weekend, like, you know, we joke around, Missy and I have joked around that we didn't have much of a preseason. When you look at this weekend, we're playing, it's a conference opponent in a non-conference game, but we're going to play the #1 team in the country twice, you know, and I love that. I love that idea. I love the opportunity that it provides. And for this group, you know, like, I don't know. I think this could be a really special year. And I know that they are appreciating everything about it, because they were so excited last year and how all of that, you know, came to that screeching halt. And they have done everything right to be able to be out there. And so, for all of our teams, the success that they have, is really fun to see with everything that's gone into it, but for this team particularly.
Lisa Peterson joining us. How about Oregon Volleyball? Unfortunately, we didn't get the matchup for number 1 and number 2 in the conference last week in the world that we're in, but they're back to work this week, and Oregon Volleyball out to a great start. They're healthy this year.
So healthy. They've had people, again, very similar to women's basketball from last year. Like when you just have so many new people and not a lot of pieces, of where to go, like it just makes a really big difference. I will tell you that team, you can't talk about that team and not talk about Brooke Nunaville.
Mm-hmm.
She is incredible. And she's played how many positions for us? She was the first ever offensive and defensive player of the week in the same week in the Pac-12. She makes really hard things look so easy. She's incredible. And so, the setters, the middles, like they're having Taylor Borup back and her steady leadership. Like there's just so many things going on with that team right now that are incredible. And I know they were very disappointed that they didn't get to play last week because of the protocols for Utah. But super excited that they are back home this weekend against Colorado, and I know that they're pumped and ready to play.
2:00 Friday. So those of you who watch Duck
Friday.
Insider or listen to Duck Insider live at 1:00, you're just going to roll right into the live stream for Oregon Volleyball coming your way from Matthew Knight Arena, and it's like we thought about this from a programming standpoint, and it works out great. It's like a pregame show, and then don't forget that Oregon Baseball also happens to play at 4:00 that day, right when Oregon Volleyball ends. And then Oregon's
over. Keep going, Joe.
And then Oregon soccer starts at 6. This is just good scheduling on behalf of whoever the gurus are that figure this out, because from pretty much 10 and 11 a.m. on Friday onward, you've got an Oregon sporting event to watch, which is great. So all the more reason to. It's like on the old NCAA app, you used to have the boss button for when you were streaming games while you were sitting in your cubicle. We should come up with a GoDucks.com boss button.
Although at our place, well, yes, for people in other places,
right.
In our building, the expectation is that everybody's watching them all.
For sure,
yes,
that's what the TVs are for, and
Exactly.
100%. I'm all for it. I think for everybody else, we might need to come up with like a boss button. I think we're onto something.
Yep.
Speaking of Oregon soccer, I will call it a tough offsides call that prevented a victory. However, Graham Abel is still undefeated as the head coach of Oregon soccer.
And I thought it was offsides too. He said that it was a foul on the goalie.
Oh,
and I was like,
I missed
wait,
that.
Right? But I don't know if we can still be fined. So let's not. Yes, no, that's what I said to him too. I'm like, you there's still no L's, and so I'll take it. And that group, they're trying to figure each other out. They only started to be able to scrimmage back in January, so it's still. I know that they were able to condition and do some drills and stuff like that, but I'm really excited about this weekend too. I know it's a tough task with Stanford and Cal coming into town, but Graham's going to have them ready, and I know that we'll put up a tough fight, and who knows what can happen. It'll be great.
Yeah, 6:00 coming up for those of you who are, now you're on to our live stream. We have like 5 different live stream links, so go to GoDucks.com. The various schedule pages have you covered. Also, if you go to the media tab, we've made sure that all of them are bulleted out for you because we'll have a ton of different sports to be talking about. Lacrosse season getting underway too, Lisa. Acrobatics and tumbling season getting underway. It was cool to see 2 sports get rolling, and that's actually why I asked you to come on this week, because we'd have all these sports that are now underway, which is just awesome to see again.
Yeah, no, it's been great. I was really excited for acrobatics and tumbling because there was a lot of unknowns around that season, and if we were even going to be able to do it because of the type of sport that it was. And so real kudos to Keenan and Taylor and those student athletes for everything that they have done. It was a great first meet. I know their opponent wasn't typically what we're used to, but they came out and did a really great job. And, we've got the one coming up against Baylor, which I think it's been solidified. We were, the uncertainty around what men's basketball is doing. So I don't know if it's public as of the time, but that will be on March 6th. And I don't want to lie to you about the time. So, but that will be happening. Really excited about that. And then, yes, lacrosse. And I actually went with them on the road to San Diego and UC Davis, and just a great group. And, they were limited with some of their depth due to some COVID issues. But again, you have to think about, even though it feels like they've been doing this for a very long time, they really haven't. It's been about 4.5 weeks that they've been able to actually play. And so they're going to get their legs under them and they're going to start to see some success. There's a lot of new faces on that team too. And so just really excited, about what these seasons can bring.
Acrobatics and tumbling on the 6th, and what Lisa's referring to is those men's basketball games that have been revised on the Pac-12 schedule. Next week, Oregon will have 2 home games for men's basketball on a Monday and Wednesday against Arizona and UCLA. Time still TBD. And then what used to be called the Civil War, now Oregon State rivalry series, is going to be played on the 7th instead of the 6th.
Yes. All the confusion.
I think.
No, the folks in events and their calendar, it's a good thing they use pencil or, erasable on the computer.
Well, and I've got I've been told that my calendar is crazy because I actually have a calendar that I put together that's color coded with all of our sports. So I can see, this is actually what I'm looking at right now in order to make sure that I have everything correct. And I got told that my calendar looks like a kid's art project with the amount of colors I have on it.
Well, Joe, after this weekend, because beach volleyball also starts this weekend. So after this weekend, depends on how you want to count track, but of our 20 sports, there's only one that's not in season.
Right.
And that's football. Everybody else is competing. Outdoor track, indoor, outdoor track, but cross country is competing. Indoor track is competing. So I guess you could say outdoor track. So we'll go with 17 of 20 will be competing this weekend.
Yep.
And that's just, something we've never done before, but why not?
Yep. Yep. Lisa Peterson is our guest. Deputy Athletic Director, kind enough to join us for Athletic Director Tuesday, brought to you by Pepsi and locally owned Bigfoot Beverages. Go Ducks, drink Pepsi. We covered a lot there, Lisa, and thanks for taking the time. Best of luck if I don't see you before you hit the road to Vegas and then to San Antonio. Thanks for all that you do. And, well, here's to getting some wins in whatever way, shape, or form that may be here down the stretch.
Thank you so much, Joey, and I just appreciate being on here. And if you have any packing tips, I know you didn't really provide much previously, but if you've got any good packing tips for me, please share.
Roll everything. Roll everything. I am not a folder. I'm a roller. It keeps the wrinkles better. I'm telling you, it's the way to go.
Right.
Polo shirts, you don't have to iron polo shirts. If you bring those, you got to roll. You got to roll.
That's actually a good tip. I'll take it.
Well, we'll see if it works for you. I don't know.
Exactly.
All right, we got
Joey.
a lot more to cover. Thank you, Lisa, though, again, for taking the time. Lisa Peterson, Deputy Athletic Director, kind enough to join us. She's got a busy schedule, as you can see. And now she probably has a 1:30 meeting that she's going to. Yeah. We have a lot more to talk about. We'll dive in deeper to Marcel Yates. That has become official for Oregon football. Chris Duarte is big honor. And men's basketball last night, we're going to hear from Dana Altman on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Dear Wallet, you can't stop a new 2021 Toyota no matter the weather. The Camry all-wheel drive comes out to play. Snowy hills don't stand a chance against the RAV4, and everyone will be comfy in the Highlander. See you in the snow. Toyota. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota. Let's go places.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Dear Wallet, you can't stop a new 2021 Toyota no matter the weather. The Camry all-wheel drive comes out to play. Snowy hills don't stand a chance against the RAV4, and everyone will be comfy in the Highlander. See you in the snow. Toyota. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota. Let's go places.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Tweens have mastered the art of tuning out. Jen, there's a spider in the car. We're turning your room into a home gym. See? Nothing. But some messages need to get through. Like making sure they're buckled up the whole ride, every time. Do whatever it takes to make your child listen. Jen, I friended your boyfriend.
Wait, what?
Buckle up, sweetie.
Never give up until they buckle up. Learn more at safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
To buy your home, you became a house hunting ace, learned about loans, scoured neighborhoods, and asked the right questions. Now you're queen of your castle. If you manage that, you can get your retirement plan on track. Visiting aceyourretirement.org can help. With 401k tips and smart saving strategies, you will feel empowered to own your retirement like you own your home. Go to aceyourretirement.org. Because when it comes to clearing financial hurdles, you're an ace. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Back on Doug Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack here with you. Sue, yes, the bobblehead is Uncle Phil. It's a good bobblehead. The Matthew Knight Arena bobblehead from opening night. I can't remember when they did this. It was for Phil's birthday at one point. It was a promotion, right? I can't remember exactly. But I think it was a promotion. I can't remember, though, if it was opening night because we've got, Uncle Phil bobblehead. It's one of the best parts of the desk. We got a lot of cool stuff on the desk. We're actually in basketball mode, as you can see. For those of you that are watching, we're getting ready for Tip-Off Tuesday coming up this afternoon. Meanwhile, for Oregon football, we told you Marcel Yates has been officially announced. Coach Cristobal saying, quote, Marcel is a tremendous addition to our Oregon football family, as he is a high-character individual who brings a high level of experience and expertise to our program, a well-earned reputation as a teacher who accelerates the development of the players he coaches. That's a pretty great endorsement from Coach Cristobal. Yates has spent the last 5 seasons working in the Pac-12. First, he was the defensive coordinator at Arizona the last season as the defensive backs coach at California, where he worked with now Oregon defensive coordinator Tim DeRuyter. He has done tremendous things throughout the course of his career. That's a great addition. He said, quote, I am excited to make the move to Eugene and join a great coaching staff. Coach Cristobal and I talked during the process about his vision for the program, and it fits what I want to do. Winning the national championship is the goal that we both want to reach. My relationship with Coach Tim DeRuyter also played a big part in making the decision to become a Duck an easy one. Marcel Yates, welcome to Oregon. Chris Duarte, senior guard Chris Duarte, named one of 5 finalists for the Jerry West Shooting Guard of the Year Award by the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame. He is the first Jerry West Award finalist in program history. The other 2021 Jerry West finalists are all names that you'll know. Duarte from Puerto Plata, Dominican Republic, one of only 2 players in the nation, averaging 16 points and 2 steals per game, while shooting 50% from the field. He's leading the Pac-12 in steals and 3-pointers made per game, and he's ranked among the Pac-12's top 10 in 6 different statistical categories. Chris Duarte, not only a Jerry West Award finalist as announced today, but I think a bona fide candidate for the Pac-12 Player of the Year Award. Now, of course, for men's basketball, it was a rough one last night against USC. We know that. It did not go according to plan. Dana Altman did talk with the media postgame, though, about some of the challenges that they faced and how do they bounce back. And also, he did get asked if you can take something positive from this one. And, well, there's not a whole lot of positive to take from it. Well, the Ducks got to learn from it and move on. Coach Altman talked with myself and some members of the media postgame after the Ducks loss at USC last night. A couple thoughts as they jumped out to an early lead and then kept it up, didn't they?
Well, I was extremely disappointed. We thought we were ready to go, but obviously we weren't. They threw a knockout punch, in the first 5 minutes of the game. And, we just didn't get anything going offensively. Our movement, we were just stuck in the mud. Just defensively, no activity. Just couldn't get anything going. So, like I said, we got way down early and, we had a run there. We got it down to 10. She only had a 3 in the corner that could have put some pressure on them just to make a run. But we missed free throws. We missed layups, just a poor performance.
Bouncing back now, Coach. What's the key to bouncing back from this? Because you guys have so many games now in a short period of time to end the season.
Yeah, we're going to have to get energized. We're going to have to, take a day here and analyze and, we got to get some energy. We just didn't play with any energy tonight. So I thought our depth would help us with that. It did not. We just didn't get after it from the very start and really struggled.
Dana, not to look past any of the issues clearly you point out there, but when AD starts off that hot, just how much more difficult does it get when if you guys are going to have some struggles when they're shooting the lights out, and he in particular is going to do that.
Yeah, no, they did. He hit those threes, and really, I mean, it was 9-0 before I could even get a drink of water, and so their hot start and our cold start, when we got into our presses, our defensive numbers were pretty good, but heck, we weren't scoring, and they'd come down and execute their stuff and get whatever they wanted. They shot 65% in the first half. So again, the energy level has got to get better. I don't want to, we just didn't get it done. But their hot start, they got some good looks and they hit them.
Yeah, Dana, the TV crew kept repeatedly talking about how USC's length was giving you guys trouble on offense. I mean, is that how you saw it as well, or were you guys just had a cold shooting night?
Oh, I don't. Our movement, our energy level, we didn't execute anything. Their length inside, probably did bother Eugene and that, but we got 24 points in the paint, and we had some decent looks. We just didn't finish. I don't know if we got a little hurry. A lot of them weren't really contested. So their length was bothering them if they were really contested. But we had a lot of looks that really weren't that contested. So I don't even know who did the game, but their length is good for them defensively, but we didn't get it going from the start. It was a poor offensive performance, and we all got to take our share of it, myself included, because we obviously weren't ready to play when they get off to that kind of start.
Dana, what do you say to the guys in the locker room after a game like this? What's the message?
Well, it's a lot of games to play yet. Disappointed. We obviously can't play with that low of an energy rate, and with the numbers of guys we're playing, we should be more energized. So we just got to get the energy flowing. We defensively, though, you can't give up 65%. You can't give them 43 points and a half, and that's just not the way we're geared.
It's just not the way they're geared, because Ducks usually forcing a lot of turnovers. They outblocked and outstole USC last night. Just didn't go their way on the rebounding numbers. I think that was the biggest key. Oregon, though, now has to bounce back because they will play Stanford coming up on Thursday at 6 o'clock. We'll have a 5:30 pregame show for you on the Oregon Sports Network. That game will also be televised on the ESPN family of networks. And Oregon has now added games to the schedule, and that was announced yesterday after we got off the air. Ducks will play 2 home games, one against Arizona next Monday, one against UCLA next Wednesday. The Ducks will then play Oregon State in Corvallis on Sunday rather than Saturday. That's the schedule ahead. GoDucks.com will have some updates for you as times of those games and broadcast networks are finalized, but I do know that we will have them for you here on the Oregon Sports Network. When we come back, Nils Schyllander joins us. They beat the Huskies in dramatic fashion. Oh, and it was a lot of fun. You're going to want to stick around. Nils Schyllander, head coach, Oregon men's tennis, after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Hi, welcome to the Spicy Drive-In. May I take your order?
Can I get the spicy chicken sandwich, please?
The spicy chicken is an excellent choice, sir. And to drink?
Whatever's fine.
Oh, may I make a beverage pairing recommendation this evening?
Sure.
If we are feeling especially bold tonight, sir, I would recommend the Mountain Dew with that. It's bravely unrestrained with a very alive aroma that pairs wonderfully with your spicy chicken. It's followed by a hint of zesty citrus flavor.
Yeah, that sounds amazing.
I'm sure you already know this, sir, but remember to appreciate the nose first by giving the Mountain Dew a little swirl to really volatilize it.
What?
To change the flavor compounds and activate your taste buds to get them fully primed for that chicken sandwich.
It's delicious.
Now you're getting the hang of it. The muscular flavor charge characteristics of Mountain Dew make for an absolutely epic mouthfeel when paired with spicy cuisine. It is quite on point, sir.
Dude, it's a perfect match. Like they were made for each other.
So true, so true.
When you want to make good food bolder and bold food better, do the Dew.
Your daily dose of Oregon athletics. This is Duck Insider from Learfield IMG College.
Whoa, long time no see. It's me, the Rock t-shirt in the back of your closet. Dude, dude. Remember? You crowd surfed in me, man. But you haven't worn me in like forever. I get it, you're retired, but I still got some rock left in me. So take me to Goodwill, where I can really make a difference.
Your donations to Goodwill create jobs, training programs, and education assistance for people in your community. To find your nearest donation center, go to goodwill.org. Donate stuff. Create jobs. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
I wasn't prepared to be a caregiver to Mom. I had no idea how hard it would be and what I would need to know. Things I never thought of, like how to improve her mood and ways for me to stay positive. Luckily, I found the Caregiving Resource Center from AARP. It had articles about the basics, but also information about the hurdles I was facing.
Caregiving Resource Center at aarp.org/caregiving. Articles, tips, and tools to help you both care for your loved one and care for yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Back on Nugget Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack in the Country Financial Studio. Yesterday afternoon, we caught up with Oregon men's tennis head coach Nils Schyllander. They're off to an undefeated start, and it was a dramatic 4-3 win that came down to the number 6 singles against Washington. They were able to get it done, and now they're hitting the road to start official Pac-12 play this week. We had a great chat with Nils Schyllander. It's always good to be talking with a coach who beats the Huskies. That's always fun for us. Nils Schyllander joining us, head coach Oregon men's tennis. Hey, Coach, let's just start with the weekend that was. I mean, normally when we're talking about Husky Week like we did last time you were on the show, having inclement weather move a game and move a match would be like a huge deal. But now it's like, it's just another schedule change. We're unfortunately kind of used to that. But I'm so glad you guys were able to get the match in. And as a coach, you got to be pretty darn happy you were able to get the match in too, right?
That I am, and what you said, I'm very fortunate to be the guy that beat the Huskies and have fun with it, just like you had fun with it. But no, it's great. We got 2 weeks of Husky Week this year, so it's good. We're glad we got it in, and it was a great match from both teams. I thought Washington gave us absolutely everything we could handle.
So you're 7-0 on the season. What's been the key to getting to 7-0 on the season so far?
Practice. And I think that shone through in the match yesterday. I mean, the guys, they practice so hard and so gritty every day. And they're scrappy in practice, and it just carried over with the match on the line. It's that mentality, never take a point off. And you do it every day. Hopefully it translates into the weekend, and it did.
Take fans through your mind as a coach in a match like this. You end up winning 4-3. You get some critical wins at the number 2 and the number 6 court. Take fans through sort of your progression as a coach in those dramatic moments.
Yeah, that's a match has so many ebbs and flows, and you can kind of see where the match is going. And you have a feeling. I had a feeling pretty early it was going to come down to Luke. So you focus a lot of energy there and just try to manage it and have them mentally prepared to, hey, it might come down to your court. So it's a lot of just management and not only X's and O's.
When you get to a dramatic moment like that where other courts have wrapped up, I mean, how much more buzz does that add for the entire team to be kind of watching like the one match that's going to matter? I mean, that's got to be the best part about this, right?
It's when you win, it's amazing. Been on the other side of the coin many times, but just to see the whole team just get behind Luke and will him home was fantastic. And I have his little brother there, being able to watch it too. There was a big brotherly hug right after that match. I don't know if you saw the photo, but it's awesome.
We put it out on the show yesterday, and the photos were great that you can find from Mosley and also on the Oregon men's tennis Twitter, everybody. That's what this is all about, right? I mean, I'm just kind of curious your perspective on this too, Coach, because I've been talking about things like this. I mean, we get moments like this that are just so worth celebrating. I mean, that's what this is all about, right? Like, that's why everybody has worked so hard to be able to give the student athletes the opportunity to compete.
No, absolutely, and they love it, and for our administration to have put us in a position to be out there and compete and doing it right now is just fantastic, because it's, you know, it's memories for a lifetime for these young men.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, this is one that I know is going to be burned into everybody's memory like it is for mine. 7th different singles lineup in 7 matches so far, Coach. Is that...
You know more than me.
Well,
I haven't thought about it that way, actually. Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah, 7th different singles lineup in 7 matches. And my question was going to be that just means that you got a lot of good competition on your team, right? I mean, if you can play with the depth a little bit.
No, absolutely. We're deep, and you know, a lot of the guys are, you know, it's who plays the best few days leading up to the big matches, and you know, we got the luxury of mixing a spot or two, and they've responded well. They responded real well, and I think yesterday the matchups worked out great for us. And you know, Jesperson playing lights out, so we moved him up in the lineup, and he delivered again, and it was good.
You got 3 players that are undefeated in singles play. I mean, that there can't be that many squads around the country that are even at this point in the season have that many players that are undefeated, right? How unique is that?
Yeah, no, it's, you know, and competition is only going to, don't get me wrong, competition is only going to get tougher from here on out. But we've been playing well. We've been taking care of ourselves instead of worrying about what our opponents do. And like I'm going to hit on it again. I mean, practices have been fantastic. You know, it's easy to not be mentally sharp on a Tuesday when you don't play the Saturday or Sunday. But our boys, they've done a fantastic job of competing in every practice, and it's going to carry over, and you're going to have a lot of wins.
You're going to play Thursday at really in Tempe. I was going to say at New Mexico, but it's in Tempe against New Mexico. And then Pac-12 play starts, Coach. Some of the keys for your road trip out to Arizona.
Well, we're going to be tested. I mean, once we're going outside for the first time, and it's different. The elements are different outside than inside. It's in many ways like 2 different sports. With wind and heat and all these things, and not have a ceiling over your roof. Your depth perception is a little bit different, and you know, we only have 1 day to prepare. But you know, I wouldn't put it past these guys to get it done. New Mexico are going to be tough. I think they're going to win their conference this year. So we're going to be tested right off the bat before Arizona State and U of A.
New Mexico 3 o'clock on Thursday, and then ASU 1 o'clock on Friday, and Arizona down in Tucson then Sunday, the 28th at noon. Your Oregon men's tennis schedule coming up. Coach, you able to practice out there to get used to those elements before you hit the court in competition?
Yeah, we get in late tomorrow night, so we'll get a couple of hits in on Wednesday, and then maybe we'll go out there, do a light workout Friday morning before the match. We'll see kind of how we feel, and on Thursday morning, I should say. But you know, we'll get 2 or 3 hits in out there before we compete.
Well, good luck. Safe travels. I hope that, I guess as long as you win, I was about to say I hope that you don't have quite as dramatic of a finish, but as long as you win, that's all that matters, right?
Yeah, I'll take him. That was fun. that was a lot of fun. And we have a lot of new players on the team this year. For them to witness that against Washington, because I told them before the match that this is going to come down to a 3rd set on 1 match somewhere. It always does when we play them.
Yep.
So be ready, and then it happens. So now our newcomers, they know what it's like. They know what it's like, and that's an experience that's going to help them when they're in that position themselves.
I love it. Nils Schyllander, head coach, Oregon men's tennis. Hey, best of luck, safe travels, and we'll catch up with you again, hopefully after a few more victories.
Sounds great. I appreciate you, Joey.
Talked with Coach yesterday, and it was awesome to catch up with him. Now they're hitting the road to start Pac-12 play after they play New Mexico on Thursday. Up next, another team that's opening weekend round 2. We're going to hear from Mark Wazakowski. He talked to the media today. We'll sneak that in at the end of the show after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
After 2 years of construction, my wife and I finally moved into our dream home. So when a bathtub fixture broke, causing major water damage, I was glad we had the home insurance protection we needed. How do you know your home is protected? Talk to a Country Financial rep like me, Nick Simon. We can help you understand your options and select coverages to meet your needs. Then if something happens to your home, you won't have any surprises. Need the right coverage for your home but not sure where to start? Visit TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
You're listening to Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
All right, everybody in the car, let's go.
What are we gonna do first when we get there, Mom? Go for a hike?
Sure.
What about canoeing? Can we go canoeing too?
I don't see why.
How long does it take to get to the forest?
It's not that far, sweetie.
Are we there yet?
Yep, we're here.
Already?
It's a short drive from your neighborhood to your naturehood. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a neighborhood park or green space near you. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the U.S. Forest Service.
They say that car crashes happen in slow motion. The reality is that crashes happen fast. There's no time to think and no time to check if your child is in the right car seat. Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Are your kids in the right seat for their age and size? Don't think you know. Know you know. Get more info at safercar.gov/the-right-seat. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Back on Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack inside the Country Financial studio. Mark Wasikowski, he talked to the media this morning. We were able to get a little bit ready for you as Oregon baseball prepares for Thursday at 4 o'clock, a first pitch you'll be able to watch on our GoDucks.com live stream. Mark Wasikowski talking with the media about last week's COVID pause and now getting ready for a season opener, round 2 with the Oregon baseball head coach.
Hey, well, I was just wondering how you spent the weekend. Did you guys get to do any sorts of workouts? Did you get to watch games? And did you get to maybe gather any information from what you saw from results around the country?
Yes to everything. So, very, very simply, we had a very good weekend. The group's motivated. We didn't have very many innings to scrimmage, but we kept the pitchers that were available and the players that were available in game shape. We had great practices. We were able to scrimmage. The weather was and has been pretty good. We've spent a lot of time recruiting. We spent a lot of time watching games across the country. And then we got a chance to watch our opponent as well here for 3 games. They got backed up in their own schedule for whatever reasons. And so we got a chance to watch their games even ending yesterday.
Hey, Coach. So you talked about how impressed you've been with Isaac Aon and Rio Britton. Do you see either of those guys potentially starting the season in the rotation, or are you planning on doing more of a slow transition with them, or just what's the plan with those guys to start off?
The plan with those guys to start off is out of the bullpen. They both have electric arms, and I could see their roles getting, growing as the year goes. For sure, we'd start them off a little bit with a little bit, and hopefully that would lead to some success, and they can build their confidence at this level to begin with.
Well, as we said, at least the pitching rotation for this weekend, and I know weather can change, on the drop of a dime, but the forecast for Thursday and Friday is not great. Is that impacting your plans at the moment?
No, not really. It looks like Friday, at least right now, is the worst day. I don't. For me, the weather and stuff, we don't even get involved with it. We won't release a rotation until after all the protocol stuff comes out. We test today. We get the results back tomorrow. So as a standard, I guess, with this new era, we'll release our pitching rotations after we determine who's available to pitch. I'm anticipating having a full slate, full roster this weekend.
Seems like along with maybe like a quarterback in football, there aren't many positions like starting pitcher where the necessity for those guys to stay healthy and really be disciplined with the protocols, as we found out last weekend, is to the utmost. What do you communicate to those guys about kind of is there more pressure on them more than anyone else to kind of stay healthy so they can keep their arms in shape, so they can stay on their pitching program and not, because interruptions for those guys, if your pitching program gets interrupted, obviously could have really significant long-term implications.
Yeah, I think that's very insightful, Rob. I think that's one of the biggest things that we're going to see. It's going to be different than the other sports. If you knock a pitcher out for a 2-week, 14-day quarantine period where they're not allowed to lift weights, they're not allowed to be on their throwing schedules and their bullpen routines, all that kind of stuff, they can't just come out as soon as they're released from quarantine and be eligible. They're eligible to pitch right away, but the risk for arm injury increases significantly if you don't take care of those guys. There's a ramp up. There's a ramp up process. We saw it in the big leagues, Major League Baseball this year. The injuries were up 45% from a year ago. The ramp up time in spring training this past year was 3 weeks versus 6 or 7 from previous years. Since 2015, pitching injuries are up 75% in the major leagues, and so these are things that are real. It isn't just impacting our level, it's impacting the major league level. And so it's going to take our guys a big amount of responsibility to make sure they nail the protocols. The tough thing, though, for like this last weekend, it doesn't even matter if your guys nail the protocols. If they get stuck in a contract tracing situation, and that doesn't even mean that it's coming from somebody inside your program. It could come from somebody outside your program. If they get stuck in a contact tracing deal where they're out for 2 weeks, this becomes real. And so then as a head coach, you're put into positions where you're considering pitching people or playing people that you're already counting on redshirting, 1. 2 is you would never, or we wouldn't at least, overextend a pitcher just because others are out and pitch a guy more pitches or more innings than he's ready to be throwing at this time of year to increase injury risk. And so that becomes a factor. We're not going to do that. But then the ramp up time after a 14-day quarantine period, let's call it, that there's going to be, again, some time, especially if there's a kid that may have turned positive.
That's the difficulty. And I think a lot of really just honest conversation there from Mark Wasikowski, Oregon baseball head coach. We'll have more from him on the show tomorrow as we get ready for Thursday's 4 o'clock first pitch to open up the season a little later than we thought. Tip-Off Tuesday, though, coming up. GoDucks.com/radio, where you can tune in if you're live with us right now. Well, 2:30 coming up in just a little bit. Chris Duarte, Angela Dugalich featured this week. See you then.
Okay, man, this is your time. Maybe you didn't choose this, but you're here now. You're going to go out there and be an all-star caregiver. Cook, clean, be there emotionally and physically. You got to dig deeper. Drive them to physical therapy, doctor's appointments, because that's what caregivers do. Don't give up. Show the world that you're tougher than tough.
Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Is that a faucet running?